somehow we all got our stuff together and decided to all show up for the finale. Yay!
Yeah, we love that.
I don't think we've had a full panel for Survivor since the premiere.
Nope. We have not.
At least we're all together now.
Yay.
But hello, and hi. Welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay, I am just drinking water. Because hydration is important. That's all.
Lovely. Welcome to Lana and her he, theys, and thems. I just realized, I was like, look at me, surrounded with the boys. And
100%. I was like, we're putting Lana in the middle because that's funny.
Oh, David made sure to move me there just before you left, right after you left.
And then I would have had to do it myself because the order on screen does not match.
It doesn't match, but it doesn't matter. But welcome, you guys. Hey, I am Lana, your resident evil diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I'm not drinking tea, but I am drinking strawberry sunkist because, yes, my favorite. I only love it. But if I was drinking anything else, I would be drinking it out of my cup mug.
Dom!
I am adding that to my list to buy now.
It's $7.75 plus shipping. It's not that bad.
I was about to say, I don't have to. I was going to do it, but Logan did it for me.
Sorry.
And since Dom is not the only person I'm looking at, because I'm looking at all of you Survivor fans, get your cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com, where the link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically in the US, so there are no excuses, period. And you can use it for anything. Right now, I'm holding my remote in there. David holds prep, and Logan holds anything else. And Jack, we put pins in here. It's good stuff in here.
I've got stuff in here right now. So
it's stuff in there. Yeah, we have stuff in there. I'm putting my.
It could be a paperweight.
Period. It's very multifaceted. So get your cup mug and our other cup merch. Period. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm David Healy, the Survivor superfan, and I have met over 200 survivors, including maybe a winner of this season. But I do like to show a different autograph that I've gotten from survivors on these podcasts. And this is a very special one because I have been compared to this player. People have told me, if you played Survivor, I think you'd play like this person. And it was a big deal when I got to meet them 4 years ago. I'm pretty sure Dom was at the same place because I had met all of the first 5 winners except for one. And that was Mr. Ethan Zahn.
Yeah.
So we love Ethan. He's had an incredible story on Survivor and off. So yeah, that's a special one. But I am drinking water today.
I can see you playing like Ethan.
You also look like Ethan.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I would say so.
I mean, I would take that as a compliment for sure.
I think you should.
We're looking at you, Jack. We're looking at you.
Oh, okay. I thought we were gonna. Whatever. Hi, my name is Jack. I'm the resident game designer of the panel, and I was trying to figure out a literary reference to use, but then I remembered I don't read. And that's kind of a crucial part of it.
You saved yourself from getting trapdoored, my friend. I was about to, no.
He could have done it. I would have brought you right back.
I
would have brought you right back.
Yeah, there is a different definition of read, but unfortunately, I also suck at that. But
we know.
Today,
you are just awful. You're awful. You're awful.
Chaos.
Awful.
Today I am drinking both water and some cranberry ginger ale because it is the Christmas season.
Yeah.
And I'm Dom. I'm a cat dad extraordinaire. And I feel like more than ever, reality TV super fan, and just, like constantly zigzagging from like any Survivor, Big Brother, Amazing Race, Squid Game event that I could get to. So yeah, I love me some reality TV. So that's really all there is to me.
I
guess
wonder why you were going to Squid Game events, Dom.
I don't know.
I actually went as +1 to a fan of the show, which says all that you need to know.
Oh, no.
Yeah. For your brief stint and minor appearance, potentially. On Squid Game.
Maybe people don't want to talk about that. Maybe people don't want to
No,
talk
I
about
mean,
that.
we can talk about it. You just can't see it. There's no visual proof of it.
Yes, there is. I saw visual proof.
We did see a visual.
I saw a photo, and it is your face is circled, and I said, "That's my friend."
Yes.
It
I
was
was
a
like,
brief
he's there.
moment. If you pause it at the right time,
Just
I
the-
could see it. I saw you.
And discerning fans are thinking, I want to know more about that person. So this is your opportunity. You will now
there you go.
hear me talk about reality TV for quite a while now. So
Period.
enjoy.
Yeah.
Period.
And we are finally all back together to talk about the finale of Survivor 45.
Yay. That was a good one.
It was one of, I would say, the best finale overall of the new era for me. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. The twists, the turns, all
The mistakes, all of it.
The mistakes, the several mistakes, multiple mistakes.
I mean, I wouldn't say multiple. I would say it was just one huge mistake. Just one huge one. But
sure.
Anyway.
Maybe a couple minor ones by other people.
Yeah, but one huge one. But first, before we dive into that, before we dive into all of that, because I need to make the people aware you're here. Subscribe to this channel while you're here. You see us, you love us, we love you. Subscribe while you're here. Subscribe to us. Subscribe to our main channel, do all things drag. Subscribe to our Eurovision channel, do all things Eurovision Song Contest. We got stuff coming for you in 2024, and you want to be a part of it. You don't want to miss it. So hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, follow us, and you will be entertained thoroughly in 2024 by all things reality, drag, and Eurovision. So do those. Thank you. We'll remind you at the end of the podcast too, so don't worry.
We will. We sure will. So we start this episode. Of course, we as per usual, we are headed to a brand new beach because of course we have to just uproot everything at Final Five for no reason other than I want to make people suffer more. Okay, Jeff, whatever. So they go to the new beach, which I don't know if y'all saw, but Sandra tweeted, "Oh, that's the Island of the Idols beach. I know that beach very well. I was there for 36 days." And I was like, "Oh, good to know." I think we've got maybe a bit of a map of the islands that we are using in Fiji at this point. Maybe we can piece things together. But they wake up on the new beach after the night before discussing the blind side of Drew. Thank God. Thank God.
This still makes me chuckle. I just love that moment.
Oh, me too. I wasn't here to talk about it, but
and you can tell how he's feeling throughout the entire rest of the episode if you just look for 2 seconds.
Oh, he was so mad, and I was living for how mad he was every time they showed him. I was like, well, okay. It was funny.
That's what you. I'm not.
That's what you get. That is what you get because
that's where I'm
walking
going to
around.
make my statement. I was going to continue, but I'm not.
Walking around acting like you the king of the beach and telling folks what. I was so happy he got his comeuppance. It was glorious. It was glorious.
But we wake up on the beach the next morning, and of course we have to go do a random puzzle activity, run around a new beach that you don't know to get an advantage that didn't mean anything in the grand scheme of anything. But they did it.
And I like this challenge. We
I did
used to
too.
see this back in old Survivor where you had to run around and count things. So it was really refreshing to see it back on the show again because I couldn't tell you the last time they've done something like this. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I really liked the different strategies that people had to. Although I was like, if you're running and you're working with a partner and you all are unsure of a number, one of you go with one of you go with the other.
Exactly.
You might have won.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I will say it has been long enough for this challenge from being used the last time to this time that people didn't reference the old season that the challenge was on. They referenced Roblox Outlaster because that's a more current reference to it. Which,
oh god.
I mean, it's numbers.
It is numbers.
What else are you gonna do?
I mean, I feel like this season of Survivor, they are going back to a lot of old things that they used to do, which I appreciate. I mean, we got the auction this year. We got a lot of older challenges that we haven't seen for a minute. And so I appreciate them going back and doing some different things that that they've done in the past, and they're bringing it back and revising it a little bit. And then still mixing it up with some of the stuff that we've seen in the modern era of Survivor. So I appreciated that. I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. The advantage itself was actually a good advantage. It just wasn't played properly, but it was good. It was an actually good advantage for the thing. So, but we saw different people, like you said, different people's strategies of running around and how to do it. I will say Jake's had the best strategy, like slow and steady wins the race, because everybody else is like running. And it was like, oh, okay, I think it's this. I think it's that. I think it's this. Jake was like, I'm sure it's this. I'm sure it's that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's this. And I can go back and make sure, like stroll on back to the thing and get it right. Instead of just assuming I might be one number off, might be right. You can't be one number off on this. You have to be spot on. So taking your time and actually counting everything thoroughly and properly, it's the best strategy to go with this. There's no way I'm running around like, I think I got it. No, I need to make sure I got it, because I'm not running back to these same things 2-3 times, because they were far away from each other. I would have been tired from running for the first one. I was like, "Whoo, no."
Yep.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
And we got to be refreshed on the winners, thanks to Jake. So we got JT, we got Denise, and we got Cassidy, right?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Cassidy!
I was like, see, you got me right there. I was like, no, it was Gabler. Oh, nope, you meant Cassidy.
Yeah, it
Never
was
mind.
Gabler.
It was indeed Gabler. I'm going to give Gabler his flowers. The man won. Let's not act like he didn't. I know we're bitter because we like Cassidy more, but Gabler did win. And that man did donate his whole prize money to a charity like he said he would. So I give him a prop for that.
I think it's like 40 different charities.
Yeah, it was a lot of them.
The ultimate list.
And he gave a million, his whole, like, he didn't keep any of it, which
right.
He better than me, because baby, absolutely not. Absolutely
I would have
not.
donated. I would donate some.
Some of it, but I ain't donating all of it. Absolutely not. I played Survivor for 29 days.
Yeah.
And I was starving and getting bit by bugs. These charities didn't do that, so I'm keeping some. But yeah.
And at the time, because the number had been going back and forth on the coconuts, and I thought it was 42, and I was like, oh, we're gonna get to see Marianne again. Yeah.
No, it was Gabler.
Cassidy.
Cassidy.
Anytime we can bring up Cassidy, I know Dom is happy about that.
I was saying I'm slacking. I feel like I've not even mentioned her in months. Like,
I know.
come back on
There you
TV
go.
again, Cassidy, and I will start defending you again on Twitter.
I will be right there with you.
She'll be back on the challenge, I'm sure. I think she got ate by the challenge bug, and she will be back.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yes, Jake ends up getting it on his first try. He uses his. I love that when everyone was like, "What was the answer?" He's like, "JT Gabler Denise." Oh wait, sorry. I'm like, I love him.
Yeah.
I love him. He's so good. But yes, so Jake gets the advantage. We go straight to the challenge. And we find out that his advantage is in the sandbag throwing portion of obstacle puzzle. 2 of his are already done. Which I was like,
Oh.
I was expecting it to be his machete was already out of the ground. That's what I was expecting. Because I thought the machetes were going to be a little bit further down the stand. So I was trying to think when we saw the first like visual of it, I was like, oh, it's probably going to be like, or his, or the knots are undone or something like that. But no, just 2 of them are already, 2 sandbags are already done. You already have 2 of your numbers. But yes, a classic, as I like to call it, obstacle puzzle with the return of the Michelle Fitzgerald puzzle. And I, for one, was thrilled.
Yes. I was so excited when I saw that screenshots of it on Twitter, like a couple days before the finale.
Yeah.
And it just got me back to the moment in Winners at War when she was doing that puzzle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she needs to win and she needs to kick it. She needs to kick it. And she kicked it and I lost it. I was like, yes. And somebody else has too. I can't remember who it was. It's somebody in the new era. They kicked it too when they got it. I can't remember.
Cassidy?
I feel like it could have been Cassidy. It
Was
was
it Cassidy?
I don't
I
remember.
don't think so. I don't remember.
I don't know,
think it
but
was.
I loved it when that person did it. And I was like, whoever
I saw your tweet.
whoever does this, if they kick it, I'm rooting for them to win. Did I hold up to that end of the movie?
No, you did not. No, you did not.
You
You
did for about
quickly
2 minutes, and that's okay. That's enough.
Right. You was enough to tweet it again and say, "Yeah, I'm rooting for you." And then, nope, I changed my mind. Like you didn't tweet to change your mind. You just did it quietly, but it was okay.
I forgot.
But
to be
Austin won it
honest.
though. I want to say he did kick it.
He did.
He did kick it. But wait, this thing was crazy. This whole thing was crazy because Jake had the advantage, so his 2 things were done. Everybody's running, everybody's getting it. Poor Julie. We ain't talking about Julie. But everybody's getting it. The machetes aren't that deep, so they were able to get the machetes out pretty quickly. Poor Julie.
Poor Julie.
They get to the thing. They go do the sandbags. Austin gets his. Jake gets his first. He only had 1 to do. Everybody else had 3. Jake gets it, takes off running up the thing, and Austin gets his. And Jeff says, "Great." Austin grabbed his key and came on, and Jake was like, "Crap." He left his key sitting down there by the thing. So that advantage that he had, done. Because he had to come back down, grab the key, go up. By that time, Austin is already up there. They're undoing the knots, starting on the puzzle. I hate this puzzle. I personally would hate this puzzle because I'd be like, I like seeing other people do it. I wouldn't want to do it. I hate seeing it, but it seems so simple, but it's not. It's just like no. I hate it. It gives me anxiety watching people do it. I'm just like, no, it's that piece. Oh no, it's not that piece. Never mind. Don't listen to me. Like, I hate it. But they do it. Everybody's putting it together. Austin's good. 1. Jake is right behind him. 1. All of a sudden, here comes Julie out of nowhere, and she's getting it together. Girl, where you come from? Period.
I was like, oh my God. Like, hello. Okay. Like,
I would have been thrilled and excited to see that happen, but like, what? Then Austin's second one done, Jake's second one done. We get to the third one. Austin and Jake, they working. Jake is getting it. And then the camera flashes
on
to
3 different occasions.
This camera flashes to this piece that's just sitting right off to the side of Jake's thing. And I'm like, oh no. this is not his clown shoe, is it? This will not be his clown shoe moment, will it? And he's just like, I don't understand what I'm doing.
Did he get his clown shoe moment?
Like, I know.
I feel like his entire game was a clown shoe moment.
Honestly, as much as I love Jake,
I think so. His whole
and Jeff is just off to the side, like, no matter what Jake is doing, he's always short. And it's almost a direct parallel to Austin going, it has to be right on both sides. Like the very subtle hint of you are doing something wrong. There is something fundamentally wrong with what you're doing. Think for a moment, please.
All Jake had to do was look over to the side to see the piece just sitting there.
And he did look over on several moments to look over at what Austin was doing, and he didn't notice that he didn't have enough pieces.
You know why? Because the thing was down here.
Yeah.
Jake was looking up here. He was like, he just totally didn't look down at all. And I was like, oh no, Jake. It was so bad.
Mm-hmm. I think it was just out of his view. Even if he did look down, it was being obstructed.
It was so bad.
I just was like, Jeff, don't say anything. Because I was getting nervous that Jeff would be like, everybody be sure to make sure you have all of your pieces. Because he's done things like that in the past.
Oh no, he didn't do that at all. Austin wins, and then he walks over to where Jake is and goes, you forgot that one. It's like salt in the wound, Jeff. Like, god damn.
The worst possible way to do it.
You know, I personally I was happy to see that Jeff back because I was so tired of Heather, you might have epically failed at this challenge, but why does that make you proud? Like, no, let's go back to this Jeff who's just roasting these people.
Well, and thankfully
Katie Hansen had to deal with it.
Exactly. I was going to say, thankfully, he wasn't able to crap on the oldest person because at least Julie did well in some challenges.
Yeah.
Did not expect a Katie Hansen reference.
I love the Katie Hansen reference.
She's actually one of my underrated favorites. I feel like I could do a podcast just about her.
Oh, she's
amazing. I could, but I liked her a lot. And again,
5 points for anybody other than Dom who can name the season that Katie's on.
Ah, fuck. Oh, oh God.
I can throw out a random season.
We've mentioned somebody else from that season in this podcast.
Great. That does not help.
Africa. No.
People watching her like,
Okay. Wow, you both are so big Survivor fans. Oh my god!
Katie is just the one I always go to because I feel like
the season I forget.
He was particularly vicious to Katie. I feel like
she was bad.
Hey, she was great in other ways, not strategically, socially, or physically.
She's the first person I ever heard say "bad" like that. Bad from her Northeast accent. We digress.
Anyway, Austin wins. They go back to camp, and God, is this chaos. But what else is new? This season has been chaos.
Well, first, Austin and we're over to the side, just enjoying a little bit of food, talking, while the other three are scrambling like madmen and women.
I mean, this is where, because earlier in the show, we didn't say, Katurah had mentioned Austin and Dee getting close. She was like, Austin and Dee are getting close. And I'm mad I didn't recognize this sooner. Look at them. They always together. They joined together at the hip. They're always together. We need to break this up. Now, Julie, of course, ain't trying to get rid of Dee. But Katurah, on the other hand, is like, maybe this might be the time to get rid of Dee. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. This is the time to get rid of Dee. If you play in this game and you want to win, this is absolutely the time to get rid of Dee. And so Katurah is now like trying to figure out the best way to make this happen. It was a reward challenge at the community challenge as well. And Austin decides to take Jake for the steak dinner. Great. Sure. So the girls get back to camp. D goes for a swim. Couture's talking to Julian's like, hey, what would it take for us to get rid of D? And Julie's like, ugh, I don't know about that. Because, of course, D is her number one. She ain't trying to get rid of D. She's like, I don't know. What about Jake, though? And Couture's like, she's like, I mean, I don't mind getting rid of Jake. She was like, do you think D will get on board to get rid of Jake? She was like, yeah, for sure we can get D to do Jake. That's it. We're done. So they go talk to D. D's like, yeah, Jake it is. Let's finally do what we've been trying to do forever and get rid of Jake. Flash forward to the dinner where Austin and Jake are, because nobody in this camp could just shut up about things. Jake decides to tell Austin, oh, by the way, just because you didn't know, and I feel like I should tell you everything because that's what we do, right? We broing out, and I should just show you this idol that I have. I'm like, are you serious? Why are you telling this man that you have an idol? Like y'all been friends forever, like y'all been day one since day one. Y'all ain't day ones. Why are you telling him? Okay. But he's like, yeah, I have this idol. I'm gonna use it on myself because I know they go by my name and they coming for me. They've been coming for me all the time. So here it is. I'm gonna use it. So Austin's like, oh, okay. And then he goes to confession, like, I don't know why he told me, because you know what I'm about to do, right? Mm-hmm. They get back to camp. He like, DD, come here, girl, come here. Let me holler at you. Jake. D like, what? You know. He showed it to me. I mean, they was like gossiping girls. They was like, he showed it to me. How do you know? Oh my God, what we gonna do? It was so, I was like, why do people feel like they need to talk so much in this game? What happened to the secrecy where Marianne got an idol and didn't tell nobody?
Because this season is all about secrets and relationships, Lana.
Well, I have a hot take, I guess, because I actually thought it was a good move for him to show the idol. Because I thought that if you're thinking the three Rebas are going to stick together, you really don't know who they're going to vote for. Yeah, you could say they're going to vote for me because I'm the bigger threat. But by showing that idol and by making it seem like you trust Austin in this case, you really give him no choice but to vote for Katurah. If he thinks you're playing that idol, you're really narrowing down who to correctly play that idol on. Now, he makes mistakes later, but I did not think this part was a bad move.
I think I would agree with you. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think it makes sense with his little, belief that he couldn't play it on himself. He wanted to play it on someone else to have the flasher move. I do think that maybe it would have been a better move and even maybe even bigger if he actually tried to get everybody to vote for him and did not tell anybody about his idol. And then, hello, everybody, I've got the idol and I think everybody vote for me. So if he had the single vote that sent somebody home, I feel like that would have been his move. I feel like that was the move to make. But I don't think he was going in that direction. So with what he was going for, I do think it actually did make sense to reveal it. But I think he had better options available that he did not take up on.
Yeah, I think him doing the whole not telling anybody, because the votes would go be Jake. Obviously, it was going to be Jake because Julie wanted Jake, D wanted Jake. It was going to be those two votes. Even if Couture didn't vote Jake and Austin voted for Couture and Couture voted for who or D, it was going to be Jake because Julie.
But how many times has it been obvious that Jake was going to get the votes? He thought he was getting voted out so many times this season,
but see, here's the thing.
Hasn't happened.
But when he thought he was getting it, he got votes. There was never a time Jake thought he wasn't going to get votes or he was going to get votes and didn't get votes.
But he didn't get the most votes.
No, because they always switch. But it's 5 people now. That's the thing. It's 5 people. So he was going to get the votes. There was no doubt about it. He was going to get the votes. And then I would have just assumed if I was Jake, Couture's with the girls at camp right now. They're probably convincing her to vote for me. Now, in that, I don't say anything to Austin, but you tell Katurah who you're trying to work with. That is where I felt another mistake he made is you go to Katurah and be like, hey, especially when she brings you to space that I want to get D, we could vote D. Then you be like, okay, listen, if you want to get D, let's get D. I have this idol. I will play it on myself. You just convinced them to vote for me. If Katurah would have been like, let's vote for Jake, they would have all voted for Jake, and Jake would have had the sole vote to get rid of D.
Mm.
That would have been the better move. I feel like he was trying to do too much, and he didn't include everybody he needed to include in the plans, and you hadn't been trustworthy this entire game, Jake. Like, how do you expect people to trust you when you've been withholding information so much throughout this game that you expect people to be like, oh, okay, well, you say you got me. I trust you now. It's day 29 or 26. I don't trust you now because I couldn't trust you on day 15. I couldn't trust you on day 10. But you want me to trust you on day 26? Absolutely not. Absolutely
and I think that really speaks to the flaws in Jake's game. Super likable guy. He had a lot of good ideas in theory.
And a lot of good reads 9 times out of 10. Like
exactly. No, he had the mind for the game. The issue is, and I've seen so many people on Reddit, on Twitter, a little more so Reddit, being like they feel so bad for him because he knew what to do, but people kept on messing up his moves. To me, that's Survivor. It's not whoever has the best idea wins. It's whoever convinces everybody else to go along with their idea who wins. And he had a fatal flaw in that he could never get anybody on board. So it's not necessarily a fault of his strategic game, but it is a fault of his social game to capitalize on his good reads and get people on board. Because I mean, you have to be able to get people to do what you want to do. That is the name of the game, is manipulating others. And that was where he fell short. So therefore, I cannot say he's a victim in this. He is the author of his own fate.
That's true. And I will say, like, bringing that up, the fact that he's had so many failed moves, it honestly reminded me a little bit of Sandra in Heroes versus Villains. And I know you all just watched. She had several times where she was trying to make something happen, but she couldn't get people out of their own way. And it's kind of the similar situation with Jake. Like, a lot of people haven't worked with them to their own detriment. And I really wish he had seen that and been able to adapt a bit more instead of keep trying to fight these battles. Because Sandra, at some point, she was like, no, if you all aren't going to hop on board, I'm going to stick with the safe bet. And I don't think he ever did that. And he definitely didn't articulate it later on, which we'll get to.
Yeah. And two things on that. One, Sandra won and he didn't. So that's testament to that. Two, it's the part that I thought it was interesting is he tells Katurah after he promises to Katurah that he's gonna vote with her. He goes, "You're not going home tonight. I'm not going home tonight." I think in his mind that was his way of telling Katurah, "Hi, I'm using an idol on you," and I don't think he was obvious enough in it. Where I think he needed to be like, "You're not going home tonight." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't know how much of that they can actually do, but I would have been like, "You're not going home." And then I think that would have been what Katurah needed to actually believe the plan. At least that's what I'm thinking.
What Katurah needed was for him to pull out the idol like he did with Austin and say, "You're not going home because I'm going to play this idol on you." Let them think they go vote for you because Austin knows I have the idol. So, of course, now he's going around scrambling. So they not go vote for me because now they know I have an idol. So I'm going to make sure I stay and I'm going to make sure you stay. Hold the idol and tell your plan. Articulate your plan to the person you need to articulate your plan to. That way, because you already had plans to go awry with this same person. The thing, I'm like, you already had a plan go up in smoke because this person didn't trust you and y'all didn't trust each other. So what makes you think she's going to automatically say, "Okay, Jake, with your have giving plans that she's going to automatically decide to trust you. No, she's not. She's gonna have you have to just lay the plan out to the people you need to lay the plan out to.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the problem here is I'm going to give him credit. He was probably thinking, if I reveal that card that I'm going to play the idol on her, then she knows that I'm going to be vulnerable and she could flip the vote onto me.
Yeah,
I get it. And see, the problem is they don't trust each other.
Right. And but the main flaw in that thinking is you have to assume at some point that Katurah is a self-interested player. Why would she want to go to the Final Four with 3 Reba? She's shown that she's been a self-interested player. So she's going to be consistent. So don't make that assumption. I get why you would assume that, Jake, but it is an erroneous assumption.
Yeah.
So
very erroneous.
You can't assume anything with anyone when no one's wanted to work with you in this entire merge, and the only person that wanted to work with you got 11 votes and nullified it with a shot in the dark.
Everybody is playing for their own self at this point. It's Final 5. So that's what I'm saying. He had to know that Katurah is very much like, I'm in it for me too. So whatever is going to make me go further, and if it's working with you in this moment, let's do that. We'll both come back, and then we'll go against these 3 or these 2. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. But
I mean, the thing is that D was just so obviously the right vote for everybody. I don't know if they went over that, but it's just like she was the only one. Like, you can't have D and Julie in the Final Four together. You can't have D and Austin in the Final Four together because they'll take each other. And they're obviously not going to turn on each other. So I'm like, you need to get rid of D. And I mean, as you see it play out later on, like I know someone may have a lot of regrets about things have gone, but it's like there's not even a point going to the Final Four. Like, I'd rather get voted out 5th than make it switch from a plan that gives me much better odds if I actually make it to the Final Four.
Yeah.
This is the part that I still don't understand. And maybe this is why it all happened. Everyone pretty much knew that Austin had an idol. Like, that wasn't really a question to that point. I don't know if people maybe assumed. No, Austin has a second idol. Well, one went to Julie and one.
He already played that.
He already played that.
Am I?
No,
I'm hallucinating things.
There was one Julie had, and then he played his on himself.
Yeah, they both played last week.
Okay,
so.
yeah, that's my brain. I was like, yep, my brain is not working.
It's okay.
And that's why. Okay, we're good now.
Yeah, because I was like, that's what they were trying to do. No.
And, this is a perfect example of why these people make mistakes on this show. It's hard for them to keep up with it. So it's like
especially with lack of sleep.
Exactly.
Hunger, starvation, all of it.
Yeah.
So we go to tribal. It's a pretty standard, cut and dry, run of the mill tribal. Nothing major happens until the vote actually happens.
Oh God! Oh Jesus Christ! Oh my God! So this vote, I was like, yes, this is the moment. This is the moment. We're going to get rid of D. This is the right move to make because D is going to win this thing. If y'all don't get rid of her right now, this is the moment. And I was like, the plan is in action. Katurah and Jake, finally, the Keystone Cops have got their crap together and they go come together.
2-1-1-1.
2-1-1-1. D's going to go and she's going to be shocked. And that opens the game for everybody else. And let's make it happen. And then they vote. And we see people's votes as they go. Austin voting for Julie.
Yep.
Julie voting for Jake because Julie ain't believe Jake had idol. She was like, Jake ain't got no idol. I ain't believe that.
I love that the consistent factor throughout all of this episode is Julie going, I'm voting for Jake. Shocker.
Yeah.
And Austin and D was like, well, y'all do what y'all want to do. Y'all vote for who you want to vote for. You vote for who you want to vote for. I'm going to vote for who I want to vote for because I don't know. I don't believe it. And she's like, well, that's who I'm voting for Katurah. Austin's like, well, I'm not voting for Katurah. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Then Katurah, she gets up there And we don't see her writing, but we hear her voice. And this is the moment where everybody who was watching Survivor said,
No.
She said, I'm switching my vote because for self-preservation, because I know votes are coming to me. And I was like, girl, only one. It's only one. Don't do it. When she, oh my God.
What did you all think that meant?
I knew she was voting for Julie. In that
Yeah.
moment, I was
See,
like,
I
she's
thought she
voting
was-
for Julie.
For a second, I was like, is she voting for Jake here?
I thought she could have voted for Jake there. I had an inkling. I was like, I don't
I
know.
didn't think she would.
That
I
actually
don't-
would have made the move iconic.
That would have been the
actually.
move iconic.
If she accidentally got Jake out.
He
playing
used the
idol
idol.
for her.
That would have
like,
been
That was the
one of
game-winning
the
move.
most. That's the game-winning move.
that would. And
She was
Jake,
just
you
a
were
lawyer.
part of a
She's
game.
a lawyer.
winning
She could just like pretend like that was my plan. Like just be like, I
How
swindled
did
an
your
idol
game
out
change?
of.
How did your game change for the better when you voted out Jake when he used an idol on you?
like that would have been the most iconic move ever. But I would have been like, but it would have been iconic, but not in the way that it was like, oh, she knew about it and then she used it. It was like, oh, she had no idea he had an idol, and she had no idea he was gonna play it on her.
And we would have remembered it years down the line. Like, remember 45 when Katora voted out Jake after he just used an idol on her? Like, could you imagine?
It would have been sickening. But oh my God,
no.
she changed her vote. In the end, Jeff said,
And-
anybody wants to use an idol or advantage, you can use it right now. And Jake is like, hey, Jeff, have you heard my Tony impression?
Oh
And
no!
That's one of my least
The
favorite
chills
things.
that ran through my
At
body. I was
least-
like, I
at
don't
least-
need to hear this.
At least he didn't say, have you seen my Ben impersonation? I'll take
Uh.
Tony over Ben.
Well, it's
Yeah,
not.
I
I just feel like when you're on Survivor, don't reference iconic
Survivor.
moves. Make your own iconic move. You know,
Hello.
it's
Like
so
voting out the
tiresome.
like accidentally voting out the person that just played an idol on you.
Right? Like,
Or don't tell
people-
anybody about the idol and let everybody vote for you, and then you use your one vote to vote out the sole, be the sole vote.
yeah,
The iconic move you want to be.
yeah.
It could have been the second Wentworth does not count of the season, and instead,
Absolutely. It was, you want to see my Tony impression? And yeah, he did it.
so he
And-
plays the idol on Katora, and in that moment, Katora's like,
No.
"Oh,
Yeah.
Shoot. Like, I know she wanted to cuss, scream, throw up in that moment right there. She was like,
100%." She's like,
son of a...
"No." And
If
get
he
all the
would have
votes.
just told her. If he would have
he
just
just-
told her. Even if it was right before tribal, like right before they couldn't
even if
say
it
anything else.
was scramble,
Even
like-
if it was the last minute right before, like, hey, girl, I'm play I don't you. And you can't say nothing else. So she couldn't go
Yeah.
talk to nobody else. If he would have just said, I got an idol, I'm playing on you. And then they say, okay, shut it down. Time to go. I would have did that. Like, but nope, that's not what happened. He gone. She voted for Julie.
and
Oh my
Julie gets
God.
taken out in one of the most underwhelming situations that's ever happened.
Oh my God.
This is
David-
the weirdest vote, I think, of the new era. Just
Oh, it's up there.
Yeah. David, did you have a comment on the Tony impression? Because we
Yeah.
did talk about it while you were gone.
Yeah, I just, as soon as he said he was going to do his best Tony impersonation, I knew. I was like, Jeff, would you validate this for me? Because it's one of my favorite
I'm
things
glad-
Tony has said.
I'm glad one of us here on this panel enjoyed it because we all hated it.
Oh
Uh,
no! I just loved seeing how much of a Survivor nerd Jake is,
yeah.
because as a Survivor nerd myself, it really made me like him even more because I don't think I knew how much he liked Survivor
Oh,
and knew all these references.
the man is a nerd just in general.
Mhm.
Like if I followed him at the start of the season on Twitter and just like he's basically us. Like he's a fan of Drag Race. He plays Pokemon. He's like obviously a reality TV nerd. He's been live tweeting reindeer games the whole season. Like he is one of us. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I did not realize the extent to which he was one of us.
Mhm.
I'll take
Okay.
it. But
Yeah.
So basically, we need to get Jake O'Keefe on this show to talk
Oh,
about all things.
I've tried.
Yeah,
I
I was gonna
Keep
say,
I was
trying.
gonna say there have
we
been
negotiated
efforts
that
made.
contract yesterday, right? Like he's coming on for like the next season of Drag Race. Like we already have him.
I wish.
Keep it. Look, keep going. Try to get him.
We're
on
gonna
there.
keep the
We'll
train running. We're gonna keep the train running, but I think the
But,
further
yeah.
away he is from actively being on reality television, the better shot we have. So you know what?
Absolutely.
Maybe All Stars 9. I'm hopeful. But yes, Julie is voted out. Bye, Julie. Well, Julie,
Well,
a single mom who worked 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops with gentle hands in the heart of a fighter. She was a survivor, and then she got voted out 5th. So
part of the Reba tribe. Mm-mm-mm.
I'm wearing red for the Rebas today because
Good for you.
Thank you. So we go back to camp, and Couture is just like, "What the hell, man?" And Jake's like,
Jake
"What the hell,
is
man?"
like, what the heck? Jake just threw him right under the bus. Jake was like, you know what happened. So here it is. So we were supposed to vote for D. She came to me, said she wanted to vote for D, and we were supposed to vote for D. You made me to swear on my Nana, and you didn't and you changed your mind. Like, why would you tell me to swear on my Nana? I was like, damn, Jake, calm. He was just like, blah, 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 blah. I'm telling everything. I'm telling everything. She was coming for you, D. She was coming for you. And I'm like, as much as I hate that, I understand why. I get it. Because now you have to go into self-preservation mode for yourself. Because if D happens to win and she got to make the decision, I want her to keep me. So I was like, oh, I hate you doing this to Couture because I love me some Couture. But I was like, but I understand why you're doing this to Couture. And that's just the nature of the game. But he was going in. He was like, I swore on my Nana. Why would you make me swear on my Nana if you're not going to honor it? And she was like, no, that's on you because I don't trust you in this game. And that's the reason because we hadn't been here this whole time, which I understood too, because like they ain't been
the only issue
there.
is that it was her idea in the first place to vote for G.
Yes.
So she was like, you have to take some accountability, Jake. And it's like, so Couture, this is what you wanted.
You also said name anything, and then you weren't happy with what he named, and then you said Nana, and I'm like, that's you, sis. I love you dearly, but that's on you.
Yeah, she's my favorite character of the season, but I've seen her tweeting like that. It's a move that haunts her, and I can understand because I think that it's hard to think of many moves that have been as catastrophically chance ruining altogether as this was, because the opportunity was there. And that's what I come back to is that's like, oh, D was vulnerable for once, but even so, it was such a specific set of circumstances. She had 3 votes out of 5 locked that were never going for, and there was still a chance to get her out at 5, and the idol wouldn't have even mattered for it. Like that is like such a rare, like you had the move on a silver platter and you didn't take it. Like that will probably haunt her forever, and I feel bad.
Yeah, for sure. So we go to the next day. We go to the challenge. Oh boy! So it is the stacking bowls challenge, and we're going. I love the way they did this because it was just crossfade. Oh, suddenly D has 13 bowls. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, oh, sure. Great. Okay. Who cares about Austin in this challenge? Who cares about Couture in this challenge? It's D and it's Jake. And they're fairly even going through to 13. And there were, 17, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this felt more difficult than any other like bowl stacking challenge we've had.
Yeah, there were so many more than usual.
I was like, there's normally about 14 or something around there.
Yeah,
but,
and usually you have a pole and you're going through this little maze. You don't have to actually walk over it yourself. And I felt bad for the shorter people. It turns out Jeff said in his podcast that they had designed this like several days before they actually competed in it,
Yeah.
and they had to use D as kind of the benchmark for like the shortest person that would potentially be there.
Yeah.
So D had the hardest challenge here.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they're going. I was like, like, we walk up to the challenge. I'm like, oh, thank God it's not sim motion. Like, I'm so tired of that challenge. I think it's lovely and I think it's wonderful. Like, take a few seasons off.
Mhm.
I don't need this challenge anymore. But we're going. Dee's leading. Jake shortly behind, and then Jake drops.
And then Jake loses it.
I get it though. I feel like I would actually lose my mind in that challenge too. Like that is one of those things that seems like it'd be so miserable to have to do. Like anything, like in that one where they have to rope in like the immunity blocks and they fall off and you have to start again. Reindeer games and you have to, when reindeer games where you have to like stack things up so precisely. But those types of challenges just would make me lose my mind. And I can't imagine being in the final four on Survivor so close. And it's like, it's been, I'm sure, grueling to even do that. And then you're like, oh my God, I not only have to do that again, I have to do it even more. Like, I have to be even more careful. And like, it just seems like it'd be so daunting and so seemingly impossible to feel like you could come back from that.
So he goes full Jake smash. Walking over the challenge.
This is just him trying really hard at the challenge.
He's like,
David.
Jeff is like, Jake, if you break it, you out. And Jake is like, what? He's like, what are you talking about? And that thing said, snap. And he was like, Jake, you're out. And Jake was like, what? I'm like, you're broken. What you expecting to come fix it?
You can't compete in the challenge anymore. You broke the challenge.
Like, you broke it.
And not in like, you figured out a better strategy way. No, it's literally on the ground, Jake.
Like
the hinges are off. The hinges are off.
Jake became unhinged, and then the challenge became unhinged.
Like, you splintered the whole pole. We couldn't fix it if we wanted to. Like, what?
I'm like, oh, damn. Well, at least they have a couple months to fix it before this is the final four challenge of Survivor 46. So, you know. You know it's going to be.
I know.
The same damn challenges, different tribe colors, thank God. But, so Jake is DQ'd. Which, when was the last time we had a disqualification from a Survivor challenge? I was going to say, if anyone's going to know, it's David.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I mean, the obvious one is the DQ during, and of course I can't name it, but the game where they had to throw balls into
Samoa, Ben Brown.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the most recent one I was thinking of. And then Thailand, of course.
I feel like some people just choose not to participate in a challenge every once in a while, but not disqualified.
Right.
Well, and there's the heroes versus villains, but that one was medical.
I'm about to say, it's always medical back, but there's not really DQ.
Like a true DQ for just.
No, Jake broke the challenge. He got DQ. Like, sir, you can't go Hulk smash
to break a Survivor challenge.
And not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
No.
He broke it in the very worst way possible. But
I do hope that Peridium includes this in the next edition of his Breaking Challenges series. Just as like, and also Jake physically broke the challenge, or gaining the challenge. He broke the challenge. So that's what happened.
Crazy.
But to nobody's surprise whatsoever, she did not drop a single bowl. D wins the final immunity.
Ooh, I know Couture wanted to cry, scream, and throw up again in that moment. The second she
we all knew exactly where this was going, and they wasted like 20 minutes on this. And I'm like,
here's the thing, though. I was like, either because I was trying to think of final challenges that it could have been, and I was thinking about 2 different challenges that they've done. I feel like if it was one of those hang on for dear life challenges, again, D still probably would have won. If this challenge, when I saw it, I was like, D's probably gonna win. If it would have been the challenge that they did with the multi-tap with the balls going down the thing, I still think D possibly could have won. And so I'm like,
I think if it was Samotion, I think Katurah stands a much better shot.
I mean, she stands a better shot for sure, but I still think D wins.
I could see Austin winning that.
I could
True.
see Jake winning
True.
that.
No, Jake
It
is
helps
too,
having
Jake,
long arms too on that one.
I
Well,
think
that's
Jake gets a little too flustered in everything. That's the reason why he broke the challenge. But
Well,
I
he
think
would have
Jake
he would have broken Samotion, so that's why he wouldn't have been able to.
he
He would have
Jake,
stepped all over it.
not him stepping up. You know what?
Jake, don't climb on Samotion.
I get it crazy. Jake, you're not supposed to climb on it. What? What do you mean? What?
Crash.
In the water off the cliff, because that's what they like to do it.
If they did the traditional hold on to the idol, he just breaks
He just breaks the whole thing, like stumping on it, just keep stomping. I'm like, why are you stomping?
If it's
Jake?
the one that they
You're
just did on Survivor UK, he like pulls the ring out of the ground.
the ring off the ground. It's crazy.
Oh God. Well, yeah. So they spend about 20 minutes on this hypothetical scenario of Austin somehow being able to convince D to put him into fire, which we all knew. D knew, we knew, Jake and Katurah knew, the producers knew, the turtle on the island knew, Austin's mom knew. Like
The stingray that was floating around, he knew. Everybody knew. The crabs knew that they used earlier in the day. They knew.
all the
we all
jurors
knew
at
she-
Ponderosa done knew.
Everybody knew. They were like, D is not going to put this man in this fire making challenge to give him another notch on his belt to say,
Nope.
and look what I did. Absolutely not. She like, we already neck and neck. I'm not going to give him the upper hand in nothing. We just gonna let Jake and Katurah see what it is. So Jake and Katurah was gonna do fire. We been new, and it was just like, why are we wasting our time? But I know they got 90 minutes or 2 hours to fill, so whatever.
3.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the after show. Mm-hmm.
Can I just say, it is so frustrating how much weight jurors give on this fire making challenge. It shouldn't even be a thing. And look, the reward for winning the fire making challenge should be that you get to the end. It should not be that you get a leg up with jury votes. That's ridiculous.
Well,
Please just put that in the past. That's something we want to leave in 2023 or even further back.
You want to know what we can leave? I'm sorry. You want to know what else we can leave? Fire making challenge. Why are we doing that?
Right.
Sick of the fire making challenge.
Yeah.
How come we just can't do a challenge for the 3 who ain't won, and they do a challenge and then they go and like, why are we doing fire making? I hate the fire making challenge. Why can't we just vote? Why can't we just vote like a final 4 vote and we figure this thing out? Like it's 3 votes.
Because we just saw what happened with the final 4 vote on Survivor UK, Lana. It was boring.
No, it was boring because they didn't know how to play the game. These are people
wrong.
who know how to play the game. These people know how to play. This would not have been a boring vote. It would have been interesting because we've seen D and Austin not agree on who to send out. But in this case, it would have been pretty boring because both of them wanted Katurah out, and so it would have been Katurah anyway.
I think it would have been 2-1-1. I think we would have had basically a copy and paste of the last vote -1 because Jake and Katurah would have never gotten on the same page.
No.
Well,
So
they wouldn't have
Katurah-
had a choice in this case. Well, I guess they could vote for.
They could have both voted
I was
Austin.
gonna say, I feel like D and Austin vote for Katurah. Katurah votes for Austin, or Jake votes for Austin. Katurah votes for Jake.
Yes, that
can
makes
see that.
sense.
2-1-1.
Yeah.
Would have been the funniest thing. Would have been the funniest thing if in that moment, if they did a vote, the funniest thing would have been Katurah and Jake finally, after everything, get on the same page and they both vote for Austin. So it's like D and Austin vote for Jake or Katurah or whatever, and so then we have a tie. And they both like, no, we're not
And
changing.
if they
So then we have to go to
break it,
Rock.
the other person. Well, no, it would have been
The other
more
person go.
fire.
Then the other person go.
No,
Would it have gone to fire?
it would have
It
gone
would've
to
gone
fire
fire,
with final 4
Oh, well,
ties.
never
It's
mind.
fire.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
that's less
Back to where we
I was-
started.
Well, because
Yeah.
we can't go to rocks with one person eligible.
That's true. Oh, that's
You
terrible.
can. You just have one rock in the bag. They
Oh
put
my
their
god, I
hand in,
wonder
they
what
take
rock
it
I'm
out.
gonna pull. Oh,
Look,
darn.
if they there's 2 rocks in the bag. If they pull out the rock that's gray, we have a final 4. If they don't
No.
if they pull out the color rock, then that person goes. Why can't we
Well,
have a Final Four? I don't know.
And if
kind
they
of
pull
already
out
did
the
that,
blue
though.
rock, Ben comes back.
No!
Shut up, Jack.
What
Stop
were you
it,
saying?
Jack.
What were you saying, Dom?
Well, in Cambodia, this is another thing that I thought they handled so poorly. It's like similar to the Suri thing to me, because it was like if you all don't agree, then the people who were voted for are safe. So Kimmy and Tasha would have been safe. Jeremy and Wentworth were already safe. And Spencer had immunity. So Keith would just automatically have to go on. So it was like Keith agrees to vote out Kimmy or he would have to go out himself.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like it should never be like that. Like the only option that you have is either
The option is vote
self-eliminate
this person or
or
go home.
yeah,
Yeah,
like that. So you never know with them. I feel like they have some funky rules now, but yeah, I feel like especially this season, I feel like we're seeing that the fire making challenge has run its course completely. There's just nothing left to be taken from it because, as everyone said here, is it that big of a move now? Like it's been done so many times, and it's like even if Austin had beaten Katura and Fire, I don't know why that would even be considered a notch in his belt because Katura is not someone who's difficult to beat in Fire. So how is that even? How is that even a notch in anybody's belt? And Heidi already did it and lost. So at this point, Jeff, like, let's have that conversation of, I mean, I don't even know if I want to do that because I'm sure he's going to just come up with an even worse idea for what to do. But I feel like
no immunity challenge. We have a knockout challenge at Final Four, and the last person is eliminated.
It was going to be a series of challenges and like something.
You
like
all
that.
now have to go compete in the reindeer games, and the last person without a win goes.
And we're bringing the zip line in too, so
sure.
Good luck.
Could you imagine D and Austin doing the zip line challenge for reindeer games? They both still would have done better than Brittany.
I'm just saying, if fire is so important, right, just make that the Final Four immunity challenge.
Yeah,
you still get your fire, and then we can have a normal vote.
Fire making bracket.
Or
have everyone go to fire.
I'm about to say all three people go to fire, and then the first two people win and go.
Yeah. Like, no, don't even do an immunity challenge.
Just a fire making challenge.
Draw rocks
everybody.
to see who you're going up against. If you lose fire, you have to go into the final fire.
And I want to see a vote.
A rock, paper, scissors. Like that's what we need in this final challenge.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
Oh, wait. Other shows
have
already
done that.
I
absolutely agree. Oh my god.
I mean, so basically making the Final Four, no immunity challenge that we just everybody go to fire.
Oh yeah, that's what I think would be great.
I don't like that.
No,
I don't like that.
Just the traditional Final Four vote is plenty fine to me. Okay. I feel like I feel like now it's been so long that maybe something novel could happen with that vote. You know, like it's not like people have seen it. Yeah,
no.
exactly.
No,
I feel like
it wouldn't be possible, but still.
Anyway. But still, there could be something that could really make it more intriguing. And of course, like I said, I'm always hesitant to give them any ideas because I feel like then they'll just be like, well, we'll have the Final Four vote, but there's a possibility that you could lose your vote at the Final Four. So like they'll do something like that. Like they'll just do something that makes it like way worse.
Imagine if you lost your vote at Final Four.
Absolutely.
I would not put it past them at all.
Like you can win immunity, but you lose your vote.
Yeah. Or you have to make fire to gain a vote at Final
Draw
Four,
rocks,
like that.
And if you pick the wrong rock, you don't have a vote at Final Four.
Do or die Final Four.
Not the dark Final Four.
What were you about to say, David?
There is a season where there could have been a 4-way tie at Final Four.
Pearl Islands.
Yes, good job. Yeah, the jury.
Oh wow, you both are such big survivor fans.
The jury, they had like a challenge between the contestants and the jury, and the jury won, so nobody got immunity.
Dara robbed.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, anyways, that didn't happen. We got two fires.
We go to fire.
We go to fire.
Jake go to fire, and
Jake wins fire.
There's no contest here, and the whole time I'm just like Katura. I'm just like Katura. Don't stifle your flame, Katura. Just let it burn. let it
Look,
burn.
she has not made fire. She does not know how to make fire. She made it once, I think, on that island when she was practicing. So I was like, I would love to see her do it, but my hopes for her was like slim to none. But I was just hoping, but I wasn't mad that she lost. I was like, what do we expect? Because if you put me out there and tell me to make some fire, baby, just send me to the jury. I'm done. Like, I'll be like, I don't know what you want me to do, because I'm gonna be sitting here scraping that magnesium. Like,
it'll be, what season was that had the like 2-hour fire making challenge?
Cook
Islands.
Are you
No,
serious?
wasn't there one more recently? There was like an hour. I was exaggerating, but it was like an hour long.
I don't know.
I don't know. Cook Islands,
they 41.
They had to go to matches in Cook Islands, and somebody even ran out of matches.
Yeah. Oh, stop!
They went to matches in a more recent season too, if I remember.
I don't think so. I've not seen matches, but that's crazy, insane. But anyway, Katura's gone. She's like, but before she goes, she lets everybody know. Yeah, Julie, you told me I should go to law school, which crazy. We didn't talk about that. Julie telling Katura to go to law school after she left. And Katura was like,
Julie, the secret lawyer, telling Katura, also the
another
secret lawyer,
to go to law school.
She should go to law school.
And then Katura,
in front of Jake,
who is
the not so secret lawyer.
And Katura,
prosecutor
though. Yeah, but Katura just tells everybody, hey, because I don't know why Jeff decides he wants to have this moment first with Jake to say how everything is so great and how much this means to him and how wonderful it is. Then to turn around and say, and on the other side, Katura,
you really suck. How do you feel about that?
Right, like you're done. How do you feel? And she goes on and she's like, and just so you all know, I want to tell you, I am a lawyer. I'm a civil rights attorney. And they're like,
She must have been dropping hints. There has to be a reason.
So her story, I saw this on social media. Her story she was telling everyone is that she wanted to go to law school. That's why Julie said that, was because her whole story the whole time was that she was like a child care worker, I think something along that line, but she wanted to go to law school. And so that's why because I'd forgotten I'd seen that like a couple of weeks ago, and then I saw it as I was watching the finale. Someone online was like, "Oh yeah, that was what Katura said her story was." So
that makes more sense.
Yeah, but
I think it's just so funny, like having them like give Jake all that praise and talk about how amazing it felt for him, and then going, "And you, Katura." I just love one day when Jeff is like, "Can you sum up your experience?" and someone just be like, I realize that I can't do it and I'm going to lose and things aren't going to go my way. Like, I want the anti-motivational summing up speech.
We can't have that.
My dream, somebody to pull the Rupert and be like, so much for my dreams. And like, it just be so depressing that Jeff like actually is like, well, actually we kind of got that this season. Like Jeff kind of got Sean to quit with his little attempt at a motivational
Jeff is the reason Sean quit. But
so let's continue that.
I would go and be like, what I've learned through this experience is that I'm an absolutely horrible person. I can't do anything I set my mind to, and I'm just abysmal.
Yeah.
All right. Stuff my torch, Jeff.
I'm gonna fish for compliments on the way out. I want her to be like, no, like, we love you, Don. Like,
oh my God, you're so beautiful.
Logan, that sounds like a...
Oh my God, I'm Nicole Franzel. Oh my God, I showed up on this island in Fiji. Oh my God.
Don't give them ideas.
Oh God. I can't do this again.
Oh, Logan's speech sounds like the exit speech we should have heard from Jeff Varner his last season.
Well, I'm abysmal. I shouldn't do anything right. Great. I suck at life. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Anyway.
I was just reminded of another fact that I'm not a fan of. But anyway.
But anyway, we move.
Anyway. We have a final 3 of a couple and Jake. Yay.
He should feel like Katura in this moment. As the third wheel.
Oh, wow.
That's what you are.
And that's what he
everything
was.
I'm about to say everything about this part. I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I started cooking dinner when they got to this part because I hate this part. I hate this part on every season of Survivor. I hate the brunch. I hate the going down memory lane. And I like the fact that now that they get the jury talking about their, possibilities of how they're feeling about each player. But this moment drives me insane because I'm like, this is nothing but fluff that we don't really need. But so I started cooking. So if it's something that happened during that part, y'all can fill it in because I ain't see it.
Well, the thing that stood out to me the most was they were making their breakfast. They put on the bacon and the eggs, put it right on the fire, sat it down, went to sit down, and they're like, okay, let's start talking about the jurors. And I'm like, wait, those eggs can't be on there very long. The eggs are done quickly. You don't have time to start talking about jurors. Wait, take the eggs off and then start talking about them. Probably the only person who thought about that.
That would have gave me anxiety. Like, y'all cooking, stop talking and look at the food because you put it on the open flame.
I'd be over there. I'd be over there cooking and be like, oh yeah, Drew, he was fine. Oh yeah, Julie, she was there. Like food.
Yes.
What I'm annoyed because what happened to the days where the food was already made for them and they just walked over to the next place and then they got the food? Why I gotta cook the food, Jeff?
Why can't we go to the sanctuary where good things happen on day 26?
Right, and we can just go
learn everything in Modern Survivor.
This is so stupid. I'm like,
final breakfast.
Did we not go through enough? Why do I have to cook this final feast? Just let me walk over to the sanctuary where you had somebody professional making all the eggs with all the seasonings and everything tastes good. Because guess what? We don't know if what y'all brought us is going to still taste good because we sit here making it on this open fire. I don't know how to cook on an open fire, Jeff. I'm used to cooking on a gas stove at home, Jeff. So now I got burnt eggs and burnt toast and burnt bacon because I'm cooking on this open flame that I'm not used to cooking on, Jeff. So if you can get the professionals to go over there and cook the food and we just walk over to the sanctuary, we can have all the nice conversations.
It's not sort of, Jeff.
I mean, a sort of fruit, Jeff. Like, have somebody cut up the fruit, Jeff, so I don't have to do that. Like, I done spent 28 days on this island starving, Jeff. My brain is not in the mood to cook all this food, Jeff. Like, seriously. Do it, and then we can walk and talk and have a nice conversation about the jury and all the people who we've lost along the way. We can't do that now because I got to worry about the food, Jeff, and I don't want to do that. Like, seriously, this is ridiculous. I already had to fight for my life in this game, Jeff. Now I got to sit here and cook the food, Jeff. Seriously, Jeff. No, absolutely not. This was stupid. That's why I hate this moment, and that's why I went to cook my food on a regular stove, like normal people know how to do, Jeff. Anyway. I digress.
Oh gosh.
But they did all that talking.
That was so funny, Jeff.
I don't either.
But it was.
Sure.
Oh
but they cook, they eat, they talk about the jury, and they talk about the people.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the final tribal. Can we just go to the final tribal council? Can we just move?
There's nothing else to talk about, so yes.
Yeah. Did anybody else go into this thinking we've never had a unanimous winner for a woman in U.S. Survivor? We've seen it in Australian Survivor, which is great. But if there's ever been somebody worthy, I'm like, D really should get all of these votes.
Yeah,
I don't think
because I know Bruce wasn't going to vote for a woman.
I wasn't worried about Bruce. I wasn't worried about Bruce. I was worried about Drew. I was worried about Drew. I thought Drew was going to ruin the whole situation. Even if Bruce changed his mind, Drew was never changing his mind. But as we'll talk about the votes later, because so we get to final tribal, and I will say this: I actually enjoyed this final tribal. This was coming off of the UK's final tribal. Anybody seen that?
God.
That was abysmal.
Yes.
That was abysmal. So coming off of that to this, I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God for two reasons. Number one, we got people who know how to play this game in the final tribal, and they are playing the game. They came to this tribal to play this game. Thank God. Number two, we got a jury who respects the game and it respects the people in the game and was like, this isn't about personal and relationship. This is about whoever can really, truly play the game. So I was like, oh, thank God. Now we can have it. Yeah. And this was such a really good fight. They were fighting. All three of them were fighting. Yeah. And I love to see it. oh, that's what I wanted so much because I was like, I don't know if this is gonna happen, especially with Dee and Austin and their relationship, how this building, if they're going to let that cloud this moment with them.
Man.
And no, absolutely not. This is why they my favorite couple to come out of Survivor. I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna say that, and I don't really like couples on Survivor, but they will be my favorite because they did not let this coupling play with their game. Like, we came here for a reason. I didn't come here to meet you. I didn't come here to fall for you. That just happened to happen. That's great. If it happens, great. But I came here to win $1 million. And if I got to go against you, I'm going against you. And they went against each other, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Justice for Jamie and Eric.
Justice for Whitney and Keith.
No.
Whitney and Keith.
No.
Screw them too.
This is my formal petition to make Kendra McQuarrie the jury forewoman for every season of Survivor for the rest of the time Survivor is on TV.
But not allowed to vote.
Absolutely.
No, don't let her vote, but let her show up with the vibes. Because I thought Kendra was the perfect start to this. And I thought Kendra throughout the entire thing was the most dynamic juror. And I mean, her choice at the end, whatever. Like, whatever. It was whatever. And we'll talk about it, and I'm a little upset at her. But I will say, the energy she brought immediately, it settled all of them. It let them get a big, like, emotional part of their game out, which is what they were all feeling. It's like the emotion of everything. Kendra's start kind of let them all just get all of that out of the way. Okay, now let's talk about game. And I loved that because we don't normally get that. We get kind of like a game mixed with emotion, mixed with being a human, mixed with my everyday life. And I just loved starting with that and then like, okay, let's just focus on game now. I loved it.
And it felt almost like a throwback with the jury questions because it wasn't so structured around outwit, outplay, outlast. And we were actually seeing people like one at a time ask questions.
Yeah.
And it wasn't people like, here's my philosophical thing on the game. Like it was refreshing for me because I think it hasn't been since 33 when we got standard questioning. So
So it definitely was a step in the right direction. I still am waiting for. I mean, I know everybody else may not like this, but I want the bitter jurors sometimes. I want to hear about people's hurt feelings and some of that stuff. So I'm still waiting for someone to bring that type of energy back. Kendra may have brought a good vibe to the jury, but I want Courtney Merritt's vibe. Like tell me.
If you want that vibe, go watch the finale of Survivor UK.
I have to see it now.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
It's a worthwhile season, I think, but there's issues. I will say, like, if you think about it, like bitter jurors, I think they just need to vent. They need to lash out, but they almost always vote for the better player. Like Trish voted for Tony. We saw Eliza vote for Chris. We saw Sue vote for Rich. Helen voted for Brian. Like consistently, the people that are like really angry and like have to let it out, they vote for the better player still.
Yeah, no, I mean that's why I'm like I want to hear people talk about the hurt feelings. I feel like that's something that's a little bit missed out on this. Like I feel like obviously someone like Drew, I think he even said like he was super bitter and upset after the game and he just ghosted everybody. I'm like, I want to see those hurt emotions because that's what is part of what makes Survivor so compelling to me. It's not just watching people play a board game. It's watching people play a game that's based on emotional manipulation, which is a huge reason why Dee was able to win. Was emotionally, I don't know. Well, I mean, I'll say, yeah, she emotionally manipulated Austin, and that's why she was able to succeed. And that's brilliant. That's why she's such a great player. But it's not nice stuff. It's nasty, bitter forming emotions that come from that type of thing.
For me, really, honestly, when it comes down to it, Dee feels like an old school Survivor player.
Yeah. Like
it feels like if Dee studied any Survivor seasons, it was those old school seasons where she just knew and the whole season, really, when you look at 45 as a whole, it feels so different from everything else in the new era because it does kind of feel a lot like old school Survivor, where relationships were a little bit more pertinent and you saw a lot more of that. And alliances actually stuck together until, further in the game, and then they splintered. Like, I don't love a steamroll majority alliance usually, but in this case with this season, I didn't mind seeing the Reba 4 kind of dominating a bit more of the early merge game, and then obviously seeing the splintering happen and only 2 of them making final tribal. But it really felt like people were there to play Survivor more so than despite having 2 quits this season. It felt like people were there to play Survivor, and I loved seeing it. Like, playing that classic, ruthless, no holds bar. Like, we're playing that Survivor, and I loved seeing it.
And Dee succeeded so much because of her relationships, and she was able to maneuver because of all the information she got from people who trusted her, even when they shouldn't have. And I feel like that is a beautiful thing to see in the game. I see a lot of people, it's actually shocking to me. I'm like looking on Reddit, and so there's a lot of people saying they feel so bad for Jake, they feel so bad for Austin. We just had one of the most dominant woman winners of all time. And I feel like that needs to be talked about more. And I'm going to say it, it's the classic sexism in the fan base that someone that it was even this close. Also, I mean, like, I know that Austin has his merits, but Dee ran away with this game. Like, she was a dominant player. And I mean, I think I saw like people talking about like the Facebook comments saying that like Jake was robbed, Austin carried Dee. It's like, how can you possibly have these opinions? Like, you watch the show, and I think that just again shows the uphill battle that women have when they play this game, and that's why Dee's performance is all the more satisfying. I was not necessarily bought in on her personality-wise for most of the show. She was fine. Like, I had no issues with her, but I wasn't like drawn in and captivated by her. But I have been saying for years, love Erica, love Marianne. I want to see a woman play that dominant Kim, Natalie Anderson, Parvati type game and win. Because we haven't seen that in quite some time. And maybe some people that we have seen it with most recently are not someone that I would ever root for on Survivor. So sorry, Sarah Lucina. But
don't be sorry. Fuck Sarah Lucina.
Exactly. So I was so happy to see that finally we got that type of game played by a woman this year.
I mean, but see, here's the thing, and I love how Dee plays this game, because we don't have to have. I feel like either women in this game, either you have to be either super dominant, and in order to win, either you got to be super dominant, strong, and people don't like when women play that kind of game, or you have to be so quiet and so meek that you slide by, and then people don't respect your game either, because then they're like, oh, but you got broad, so I don't know how you even like. It's so ridiculous to maneuver trying to in this game with like with the fandom and how people just take it. Because if this was Austin, who played the same game Dee played and won, he's such a top tier player. He's so great. Austin was amazing. He kept that information from Dee, and he didn't tell, and he saved his person. He would be amazing. But then when she does it, it's like, how could you do that to Austin? How could you turn around? He's so sweet. He really likes it. Like, why does she have to dumb her game down for this man who she just met 29 days ago? She came to play this game with a purpose and for a reason, and she did that. And Austin, he dropped the ball, because he shouldn't have told Dee the information, but he let his feelings and his emotions for her cloud his judgment. That's on him. That ain't on her. She decided in that moment, I'm still playing this game. And that's why when she told him that in her final speech, I don't know if y'all got there, because it came in. But
we didn't.
Y'all didn't talk about that yet?
Not yet.
We've talked around it.
Okay,
Go for it, Lana.
Let's jump into it then. when she told him that, was like, look, I know I'm sorry. I didn't tell you, but I did tell Julie because Austin was convinced Dee
Austin was
didn't
like,
tell
no,
Julie.
Dee
No, Dee didn't do
no.
that. And Julie was like, ooh. And Dee was like, by the
About
way,
that.
about that. Hey, boo, let me tell you something real quick. Excuse us, y'all.
Can I see you back
kinda
here?
Could we talk in my office? I did kind of tell Julie that you told me, and that's why I told her to go and use the idol so she could save herself. So I told her, but I didn't tell you about Drew because I knew you would use the amulet on him to save him, and I ain't want that to happen. So, and I was like, "Ooh, boom, checkmate, boom, checkmate." That is how you play this game, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was getting very worried that she wasn't going to bring it up
I
because she
know.
had the perfect opportunity with Emily's question. Emily was like, tell me a time when you didn't play with your heart and you played with your head. And I'm like, okay, here you go, Dee.
Here you go.
And then she's like, I
My
actually
head and
played
my
with my
heart is
heart the
the
whole
same.
time. It's the
Yeah.
same thing. So I was like, no, I thought she was
Yeah.
going to be too worried about hurting Austin's feelings.
Yeah.
But I think really like when they had that back and forth, that was when, first of all, Jake, we knew he was out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I think that's when she really upped her game and knew, oh, I can't hold back any punches. I'm gonna have to let it out.
Well,
in that
I mean,
moment, it clicked. I think in that moment because he was the first one to like challenge her in what she was saying. He was the one that did it first. She didn't do it to him. He did it to her. He was like, can I talk about that? No. I did this. And she was like, oh, wait, I did this. And I think in that moment, it was like, oh, wait, he ain't backing down. I can't back down. This is a game. Hold on. Where am I sitting? This is tribal council. Okay, let me
Meanwhile,
play. And
Jake's raising his
Jake
hand.
is over there like, can I say something? And they like, no, we got this. And I think she cracked her neck and she cracked her knuckles. She was like, all right, game on, let's play.
Sasha Colby.
Right. So she was like, everything had to come out. So
yeah. I mean, it could not have gone better the way it went down. And I'm almost wondering if she knew it would be addressed at some point, because to have him initiate talking about it, I think the jury did, and then he spoke about it first, though. Like, that was undermining your opponent at Final Tribal Council. You cannot beat that. So it was way better than if she had just answered Emily's question up front with that move, just saying that she had made it herself. I feel like it not only made her look great, it made Austin look so naive and played into what everybody also already thought about him, because they were like, don't you think you made a mistake there? He's like, no. It's like, oh, she really had you fooled. Like, to a level that you still don't see it. Like, that's how snowed you are by her.
I don't know about y'all, but when that happened, all that played in my head was, and girls is players too. Hey, that's the only part that just kept playing. And when Austin was like, I guess girls can play guys better, I was like, and girls is players too. And because I was like, she played that to perfection. That was one of the better moments of this tribal. That I was like, that was the moment that I always look for when I play games. That moment that make me go, and that's why you get my vote. That was the aha moment. It should have been a TKO, and I don't understand why it wasn't, because that should have been the knockout punch. Just like Marianne pulling out her idol and explaining her how she got from 5 to this point, that should have been the TKO for Dee. It should have been boom, boom, Austin, Jake, no votes. It should have been a unanimous vote. It should have been.
I will always support, even though I don't like Drew, I feel like I will support somebody voting for the person that they actually were closest with. Like, I feel like I expect that, and I think that that's how the votes should go, honestly. Like, if everybody just is only voting based on who like played the best game, I'm like, there is the social component of it. If someone was like your ride or die and they never did you wrong, like, yeah, give them your vote. So I will accept Drew's vote. Bruce and Kendra, though, no. I need to know. I mean, Bruce kind of is in his own world, and I guess Kendra is too. But Kendra, what was that about?
I don't know what that was for. I'm like, Do you see the trend
Talking about
happening right
Austin's
here?
great game.
This girl
after that final tribal.
After that final tribal, and then Kendra was one of the main people. The girls need to stick together. The girls need to stick together. The girl is sitting right there in the final with these two men. It's an obvious choice right now. And then listening to what she just did in this final tribal, it should have been like deserved. Done. She got it. Deserved for sure. Like she should have got it. It should have been it. Like I don't understand that vote.
And now to formally say it, because we've only said it about 47 times in this podcast.
Oh.
D1!
Deserved.
Talk about Emily's vote.
Oh
Emily. My God.
I have never. That was such a good moment. I've never laughed at somebody voting in my life like she did. That girl said, "Look here. If you give any of that money to that man, I'm coming back to hunt you and take it from you." I was like, I know that's right. Don't spend that money on him.
I love Emily. She was the surprise of the season for me.
Yeah, she even surprised me in the final vote. Like I was honestly like a little worried. I was like, she's gonna vote Ross, isn't she? And then not only did she vote for D, she had an iconic voting speech. Like one of the greats. I always have said, like I miss the voting confessionals, and now to have a final vote that like I feel like I will reference in the future because it was so great. A great note to end on the season.
And she had the best question. Like in the jury, I was like, Emily flipping. I did a total 180 on her.
We all
because
did.
I did not like her. I flipped on flipping. I did because baby at the beginning I was like,
we were rough on her in that.
I was rough on her, very rough. And you know what? I stand by what I said in that moment.
Yes.
That's how she made me feel in that moment. I was not a fan of hers. But watching her throughout this game, I was like, "Oh, girl, here comes my stand card. You can have it. You can take it. It's yours." Because she ate it.
And then the next week she went home.
And I was so mad. I was like, "I should take my card." But yeah.
Did you all see who received the SIA money for the season?
No, I did not.
So it was revealed 4 hours ago. I've spent the last 5 minutes on social media trying to find it because someone was talking about it. So she did the same thing she did last season, where she gave out 2 $15,000 and then the 100,000. So she gave 15,000 to Jake. Good.
I thought so. I said him. She
gave 15,000 to Caleb.
Oh, okay. He was
probably for the
feminist king. King.
Yes.
Way to vote for the woman.
Yes.
Right.
The only man to do so, I think. Yeah.
The only one.
And I think everyone here is going to be I think everyone here is going to be thrilled.
Emily or Couture.
Emily or Couture.
Can I say the name?
I was thinking gotta be Emily or Couture.
She gets another 100K.
Jack, do you have any predictions since everyone else gave theirs?
I'm gonna bet on Emily.
Well, I think everyone here will be very happy to find out that $100,000 went to Couture Top.
Yay! Freaking love Couture.
I freaking love Couture.
But Emily should have gotten. Come on, Sia, give her a little bit.
I said last night, I was like, it's going to be Jake, Couture, Emily, and Kendra. Those are the 4 people I said I think she might give it to. But not Caleb. Caleb surprised me.
But we have to remember Caleb does not count. It's the new Wentworth does not count.
Well, it is.
So Caleb does not count.
I mean, that was super, super impressive that he actually went for it and it actually worked. Like we have never seen this that ever happen. That never happened this whole. So I was like, I'm so excited that worked, and it worked for somebody who's so great. I love Caleb. I think Caleb was great, and like you said, he is the only man to vote for the woman. So good on you, Caleb.
And he doesn't have to pay any taxes on it. As a
Period. He's Canadian. He's Canadian. So take your 15. Take your 15, Caleb. Period.
And on that note, Unfortunately, everyone, Survivor 45 is over.
Oh,
We
but
saw
we
a
did get
preview
it.
for
We got it. I'm about to
46.
say we got a sneak peek of 46.
Mhm.
I have a new stan already.
Oh, is it Tevin? Is
The
it
one who
Tevin?
got the
I know, I do like it.
Stay positive and test negative. Iconic. We have a friend who knows him from college.
Oh, really?
Oh.
So
There's
yeah,
no one who's like connected to the Survivor community, though, right? There's no like.
not to my
branding.
knowledge. I mean, the cast is out there. If you
Yeah.
Google it, the cast is out there. I don't know anyone on this cast, which is a first, which I'm very excited about not knowing
A
anybody on this
first.
cast. In a while.
Yep.
Yeah.
First time in a while, I'm like, oh, thank God I don't know someone on this cast. But
I would have loved to know somebody on this cast. But
I would have loved to know a woman or a person of color on this cast. Because everyone we fucking know on reality TV is white. No
Male.
shade to any of you. Well, no.
Now,
one of them.
now.
Well,
one
we
of
don't.
them.
Look, I didn't know her, so everybody
know.
I knew was a white man on the show and on these shows.
Or
But I
white
would love-
non-binary person.
Who was non-binary? Oh, or Dash.
Dash.
Yes, true.
And soon to be probably all four of us surrounding you, Lana.
Uh,
Can you imagine?
I'm an ally, so I love it.
Yay!
I love it.
And on that note, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us for our coverage of Survivor 45. We will be back in 3 months to talk about Australian Survivor Titans versus Rebels at the start of February. And at the end of February, we will be starting our coverage of Survivor 46.
Australia is only a month and a half away.
Yep.
Okay, whatever. February. Whatever that
It's
month
too.
is.
It's
It's
honestly
too
a little
soon.
too close.
It's
too
soon.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already, because we're here a lot of the time giving you almost everything reality TV. We've got 2 other channels as well for almost all things drag and almost all things Eurovision Song Contest. Make sure to follow our socials as well at The Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All of our links will be in the description below as well. And if you like cats and thirst traps, go follow Dom on Instagram.
and Twitter too
And
now.
Twitter. Yes, we've noticed, darling. And make sure to go get your merch, including but not limited to cup, mug, Dom.
I have them on my list now. I will be ordering.
And with all that being said, cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
We love the hand mug, dog.
We do.
We love
Yes,
the hand
on
mug.
hand mug.
Sing it, Lana.
Ole, 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 ole,
There we go.
ole, 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 ole.